Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to those of you who are visiting my channel for the first time. If you like, you could check out some of my old videos, and if you like my opinion that I've shared of them, I ask that you give it a thumbs up. But without a doubt, I ask that you subscribe to the channel for any further videos I may have and any further opinions that I may have to share. Today I'm going to be talking about an expulsion that took place at Calabar High School. All of you who don't know, I used to attend Calabar. Yes, indeed. I am a Calabar Old Boy. I used to sport the green and black epaulette and the green and black tie. Some of my opinion may be for the parents and against the school, and some of my opinion may be for the school and against the parents. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. I was watching the news and a parent was complaining that her son was kicked out of Calabar, got expelled, and she took the matter to the Ministry of Education in hopes that she could get his expulsion appealed or something to that effect. However, from what I understand, the student has been very tardy, and the parent, the student, and the school had common knowledge that this child's attendance has been terrible. For those of you who might not be living in Jamaica, Calabar High School is one of the most reputable high schools in Jamaica. When you think of Calabar High School in Jamaica, you have to put it on the level as, let's say, Harvard University in the United States. Yes, Calabar High School is a big deal. And to attend Calabar High School, whether or not you've earned your way through your educational knowledge and your brightness, or whether or not you were bought by the school for sporting event, either way, you are expected to produce nothing but the best. Calabar High School has its motto that says, the utmost for the highest. And if I can't vouch for any other schools in Jamaica, I can vouch for Calabar High School that they take their motto serious. So in order to be enrolled in Calabar as one of its boys, you are usually an exceptional student from your previous school. I mean, I went to Calabar during the time of common entrance. I heard that common entrance is no longer in Jamaica educational system, and I heard it's a total different system. But back then, and I would assume that it applies now, that in order to be a Calabar student, your grades from your primary school, all-age school, has to be exceptionally high, exceptionally outstanding, because that's a part of Calabar's pride. Over the history of Calabar, Calabar takes pride into taking the best and getting the best out of them. Calabar also takes pride into putting out the best into society, whether that is Jamaica's local society or wherever these kids may spread their wings and go over the world. Without any name dropping, it is renowned that Calabar has produced many successes for the island of Jamaica and many successes worldwide. And for this reason, I decided to weigh in. So, first thing that was established is that the mother and the child were aware that Calabar had a problem with his attendance. Second thing that was said in the news was that the kid participates in Calabar track and field. Now, we all know, that Calabar takes pride into its sports. Boys champs, Calabar takes pride for years in being one of the top winners or often the champion. Whether or not you live in Kingston or St. Andrew, anywhere you live in Jamaica, Calabar is one of those institutions that is known to you because of its repetition of being good in sports and good in education. The mother has taken the matter to the Ministry of Education. And although Calabar High School runs under rules and regulation of the Ministry of Education. I do think that because it is independently funded, there could be some exceptions to the rules in comparison to, say, for example, an all-age school in Jamaica or a secondary school in Jamaica. I don't know that for a fact, but I welcome your opinions or your knowledge whether that is so or that is not so. At the same time, I would expect that the School of Calabar's repetition would have communicated with the parents and send out a preliminary notice, a preliminary acknowledgement of the child's tardiness. Preliminary acknowledgement would be like a first and light warning. Then, say 2 or 3 months later, if that behavior continues and the student is not attending school regularly or attending class regularly, then a secondary warning with a little bit more of a sternness should be issued. And if that behavior continues, then third and final. And Calabar would be in the clear. I'm not saying Calabar is not in the clear at the moment. I can't tell the school administration how to do its business. But I'm just saying that in consideration of the mom and her expenses and the way she found out that her son was expelled, I could also sympathize with her because apparently she was not informed, she was not warned that he could be expelled, and she went ahead and invested in epaulets and ties and uniform and school books and stuff. So I do feel for her on that side of situation. However, I mean, I would be a hypocrite if I sit up here and I act as if, well, when I used to attend Calabar, I was Mr. Clean or I was a model student. I mean, I attended my classes and I got good grades, and it's what Calabar wanted from me, and I got the teaching that I wanted from Calabar. But at the same time, boys will be boys. Calabar has a great repetition, had a great repetition then, and it boosted our egos as teenagers. And after school, you know, we used to go to Crossroads, we used to go to Halfway Tree, we used to hang out just to show off our epaulet and impress the girls with the simple fact that we attended Calabar. But at the same time, times have changed because I have seen a few things on social media with Calabar students that if social media was around in our time, when we were attending Calabar High School, some of the behaviors that I've seen caught on camera, you would have surely been expelled. The thing is this, Calabar High School not only give you the bragging rights or the ego boost, Calabar High School also puts you under a certain amount of pressure when you attend that high school. I wouldn't say negative pressure, but you hold such a responsibility as a Calabar student that not only while you're at school that you have to behave in a certain fashion, but when I used to go to Calabar High School, even outside of the school, as long as you're in that uniform, as long as you're wearing that epaulet or that tie, that you can be identified as a student of 61 Red Hills Road, you were expected to behave in a certain manner. And if you didn't behave in those certain manner, actions that you actually take outside of school could actually affect you in school or affects your attendance at that school. So I would like the mom to actually understand that she bore the pride when her son got accepted by Calabar. I don't know if he got under what academic he got accepted by Calabar, because she did say he was a part of the track and field. When I used to go to Calabar High School, track and field students, most students that were on the track and field, not all, most students that were on the track and field were bought from other schools. What this meant was that they weren't as book smart as the average Calabar students, because they were bought for running or football or stuff like that. I don't know if this applies to this kid, so I'm not saying this applies to this kid, but one thing I can tell you about back then, that most of the students that were bought for track and field or for football, they came to school with an attitude as if they were already superstars. They were stars in a certain light, but they also had the impression that because they are contributing to the school in its sports, they did not have to attend classes as much as everybody else. And that's where most of them were wrong, because Calabar back then did not hesitate to kick them out of the school. I don't know if this was the case for this child. I don't know the child personally, and I don't know the circumstances around the child. As a Calabar Old Boy, I just thought after hearing the news, I would weigh in and hope that I would attract the opinion of other Calabar students or other old boys of Calabar to see what they would have to say about this matter. You have to understand that I went to Calabar in the 1980s, and between myself and about 5 or 6 other students, we were the first set of boys that were from the underprivileged communities to be admitted in Calabar. In other words, we were from the hood. Calabar back then held a certain amount of prejudice and bias among its student body. I don't know if that still applies today, but I can tell you for sure that in the 80s, when we used to go to Calabar High School, most of the students who attended Calabar High School had some international surnames, some foreign surnames. Even though they were Jamaican, it meant that their mother or their grandparents were from somewhere in Europe or somewhere else. But their family tree didn't lead all the way back to Jamaica. And those children had certain privilege at Calabar that we didn't have. You understand? As the kids that's coming from the underprivileged community. Because I shared some of my classes with some of these kids, and some of their grades used to be 17, 10, 9. We used to call them footballers. These grades were ridiculous for students that were attending Calabar. But these kids would never ever get expelled because of their grades. And the reason why? Their tuitions were sure. Their tuitions were more sure than ours. Kids like us who sometimes paid our tuitions on time or sometimes had an excuse to pay it late, we had to get our grades up to par. And if our grades falter by anything that Calabar did not see as good, we would be out. Calabar did not hesitate. Their motto, the utmost for the highest, it is a sense of pride when you graduate from Calabar High School. It is a sense of pride even if you never graduate from Calabar High School. The simple fact that you attended Calabar High School gives you such credit, and it boosts your self-esteem as well. So I don't know what's going on at the moment where that aspect of Calabar High School is concerned, but I can tell you that when I used to go to Calabar High School, it used to be like that. It meant so much for when you exit Calabar High School, which direction you turn. You see, most people who turned left at the school gate were considered the privileged. Most people that turned right were considered the underprivileged. Why? Because left led to Havendale, Meadowbrook, up on the hill. And right kind of led to downtown, Halfway Tree, Crossroad, so on and so forth. And it was only a few of us that actually went into the right direction. Everybody else kind of went left. Everybody else were privileged people. Back then, when most of the Calabar students returned from their summer holiday and you ask them where they went, they usually went to New York, London, Paris, and so on and so forth. Kids like me and my other friends that were from the ghetto, we stayed in Kingston. Farthest we probably ever went was the country. However, despite however privileged family you're from or an underprivileged family, Calabar offers a very fair opportunity for everyone to learn. I mean, some of us, like I say, had to work harder than others, but what I'm trying to say is, if you earned your grades and if you earned your attendance, you would be credited for it. I did not see any bias or any unfairness where that is concerned. Today, it might be different. Someone who is attending Calabar presently could shed some light on that. But I thought it would be only fair for me to weigh in on the matter. I don't know a lot about this particular student, but any expulsion can be overturned. Any expulsion can be appealed. So I decided, why not share my opinion and let the mom know that all expulsion, any kid that's been expelled from a school, it can be appealed depending on the grounds he was expelled, whether it was personal, whether it was legal according to Calabar laws, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. And ask the kids in Jamaica to continue to stay in school. And for you guys who are fortunate to go to some of Jamaica's Ivy League school, respect the school history, respect its motto, and learn as much as you can. I mean, education does take us a far way. Until next time.
In a khaki suit, let me go a Calabar. Congratulations. Calabar, 10-stepper, 10-stepper, head of them, 10-stepper, tell them